Okay, we're still in Deuteronomy. We've got a couple good chapters ahead of us now. We're starting with chapter 21, and this is the Deuteronomist in his little homilies is expanding on the covenant that we got in Exodus. And now we're getting to things that are even more practical. And, as I was reading this, I thought, wow, this is pretty good stuff. So, Barbara, read down through 7.
Okay. If a man is found, is it on?
No.
The light is on.
Okay. They may have done something to...
I can hear you fine.
I wonder if I could project my voice like my dance teacher she would do elocution for children, and she would kept yelling, "Project your voice!" I can
Right
try.
now.
Try it. Try the mic.
Oh.
Hello?
Yes.
Oh.
Your
Okay.
voice is projected.
Okay. If a man is found slain, lying in a field in the land the Lord your God is giving you to possess, and it is not known who killed him, your elders and judges shall go out and measure the distance from the body to the neighboring towns. Then the elders of the town nearest the body shall take a heifer that has never been worked and has never worn a yoke, and lead her down to a valley that has not been plowed or planted, and where there is a flowing stream. There in the valley they are to break the heifer's neck. The priests, the sons of Levi, shall step forward, for the Lord your God has chosen them to minister and to pronounce blessings in the name of the Lord, and to decide all cases of dispute and assault. Then all the elders of the town nearest the body shall wash their hands over the heifer whose neck was broken in the valley, and they shall declare, "Our hands did not shed this blood, nor did our eyes see it done."
Okay. The message ends at was, clear your people Israel from any guilt in this murder. So, here we have people that now are living in cities. And they got to figure out, when they're traveling, when they're that 40 years journey, somebody died, they buried them. But now, it's in golf. Anybody else play golf?
Not anymore.
Remember when they're, and you see this with the pros, it's more important with them, but when there are 2 balls on the green, the ball that's farthest from the hole has to putt first. And in tournaments, they come out and they will oftentimes use the flag stick to measure. This one's one flag stick and a hand, and they go to the other one to find out who should putt first. Here we have that rule. This may be where it came from. When they find a dead body, they got to find out what city's it closest to. Mm-hmm. The assumption being that may be the city where the murder had occurred. So the leaders go out and they measure to see which city's closest. The closest city then has to go through this ritual with the Levitical priests, where they would take a heifer, break its neck. Seems kind of cruel to me.
It's
Why
gore.
does a poor cow have to die just because somebody got murdered?
I don't know. This is where I think the Hindus have a leg up. Cows are sacred. They would never do that.
There you go.
But then everybody in the city that's closest will come out and wash their hands over the heifer that had its neck broken and say, "We didn't kill this man, and we didn't see who did it."
This is going back to Genesis or with Lot and stuff, is where you cut the sacrifice in half and then walk between it.
Right.
And
That's making a covenant.
yeah,
But in this, it's just trying to do this ritual so, we don't know who did this murder. We're absolving it. And it seems like kind of a strange way to do that, but
what I think is okay. Okay, murder is a crime, and you have to find an unblemished heifer or calf, and that's going to cost. It's going to cost
Right.
somebody something. Well, I don't want to be a sore spot to my neighbor, and so this is what the repentant is.
yes. Can you imagine how hard it would be to break the neck of even a calf?
Yeah.
I mean, that would take some force.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like it would be humane.
No.
No.
But, these are people who are trying to come up with rules. We found out if you accidentally killed someone, you could go to one of those 3 cities where you could be harbored. But let's go on to read down through 14.
Accept this atonement for your people Israel, whom you have redeemed, O Lord, and do not hold your people guilty of the blood of an innocent man. And the bloodshed will be atoned for. So you will purge from yourselves the guilt of shedding innocent blood, since you have done what is right in the eyes of the Lord. When you go to war against your enemies, and the Lord your God delivers them into your hands, and you take captives, if you notice among the captives a beautiful woman and are attracted to her, you may take her as your wife. Bring her into your home and have her shave her head, trim her nails, and put aside the clothes she was wearing when captured. After she has lived in your house and mourned her father and mother for a full month, then you may go to her and be her husband, and she shall be your wife. If you are not pleased with her, let her go wherever she wishes. You must not sell her or treat her as a slave once you have dishonored her.
Okay. Now, it ends with that killing the cow, and then we move on to war. Because one of the advantages in war is that the victor goes the spoils. And, the message, I like the message says, if you take notice among the prisoners of war, a good-looking woman,
Yeah.
and whom you find attractive and would like to marry, this is what you do. Take her home, get her a haircut, get her nails done, discard her clothes, and then give her 30 days to mourn the death of her family. And then you can go to bed with her as a husband and wife. If it turns out you don't like her, you must let her go and live wherever she wishes, but you cannot sell her or use her as a slave since you've humiliated her. Women's rights. I mean, if she's part of the booty of war, and she's got a good booty, and you don't want her, you find out that she snores or whatever, you can let her go, and she can live wherever she wishes, but you can't sell her and you can't use her as a slave.
So he leaves the door wide open because a lady that I think is overly attractive, somebody beside me may call her a dog, So the door was wide open.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But it's interesting, there's no courtship.
Oh, I never even thought about that.
I mean,
What happens to her after she, he can't sell her, but where does she go?
she just is turned loose in the city.
Oh,
She becomes a harlot.
Well, she could,
Becomes homeless.
yeah.
Yeah.
She goes down to Noel. You know,
That's really interesting.
they're part of the rules here are protecting the woman, but they're not giving her any support
No.
beyond that. The next section, I think we can probably go to the end of chapter 21.
Okay. If a man has 2 wives, and he loves one but not the other, and both bear him sons, but the firstborn is the son of the wife he does not love, when he wills his property to his sons, he must not give the rights of the firstborn to the son of the wife he loves in preference to his actual firstborn, the son of the wife he does not love. He must acknowledge the son of his unloved wife as the firstborn by giving him a double share of all he has. That son is the first sign of his father's strength. The right of the firstborn belongs to him. If a man has a stubborn and rebellious son who does not obey his father and mother and will not listen to them when they discipline him, his father and mother shall take hold of him and bring him to the elders at the gate of his town. They shall say to the elders, "This son of ours is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey us. He is a profligate and a drunkard." Then all the men of the town shall stone him to death. You must purge the evil from among you. All Israel will hear of it and be afraid. If a man guilty of a capital offense is put to death and his body is hung on a tree, you must not leave his body on the tree overnight. Be sure to bury him that same day, because anyone who is hung on a tree is under God's curse. You must not desecrate the land the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance.
Okay. Now, do you find something interesting about this? The guy has 2 sons by 2 different women. One is loved, the other's not. The firstborn right goes to the firstborn son, regardless if the mother was the loved one or the unloved one. Does that harken back to an earlier
Yeah.
story
Yeah.
Yeah.
where the firstborn's mother deceives the father, puts the secondborn in sheepskin, and takes him to dad, who's old and vision is not good, and he steals then
Yeah.
the rights of the firstborn.
Jacob and Esau.
That's right. So here, I think it's interesting because now it's being codified. This is now part of the law. And no mention back to what happened previously. And I still feel bad for Esau. I mean, because he gets pitched out, he marries an Egyptian woman,
Right.
and then his tribe gets wiped out.
Yeah.
But Jacob
Yeah.
thrives. And then as a warning to stubborn children.
Oh my Lord.
All these hypotheticals that never happen in any situation.
If there should be a stubborn child,
But you know,
just in case.
they ought to give that to every parent when they have a child in the hospital. Here's a little warning when you take this home. Put it on the bed, on the crib above the child. You know, if you're a rebellious kid, he's a glutton and a drunk, then all the men in town will throw rocks at him until he's dead. Does this stand in contrast to one of the 10 Commandments?
Kill.
Well, I'm thinking about
Children, obey your parents.
children obey your parents. And if you don't obey your parents, we're going to stone you. But that section ends with all Israel will hear what's happened and be in awe. This is a warning to the rest of you kids.
Somewhere in our society now, that you shall purge the evil from your midst isn't done in a lot of jurisdictions, and I'm talking about just normal criminal prosecution.
Yeah,
And imprisonment or whatever, not stoning people to death. But
look at how kids get away with
Yeah.
horrible things now.
well, in the court system, in a lot of these
Well,
areas, where just let them out.
yeah,
Takes so long.
yeah,
Somebody, I mean, it'll be at least 18 months before they have the trial. I mean, that's not uncommon.
no. I mean, I hear on the news they're saying, well, the trial is beginning for, and I think, he did that 3 years ago.
We've forgotten, yeah.
I mean, what's,
It's not
because the
something.
Constitution,
Speedy.
trial.
Yeah.
And, guilty until proven
Innocent until proven
innocent until proven guilty. Well, when you see somebody actually do something, and then they declare that they're innocent, I sometimes think, we're going to waste a lot of money.
Long time.
The guy that shot Charlie Kirk, they're going to court to argue about can he wear regular clothes to church or to court, and does he have to be handcuffed? And I'm thinking, well, maybe we should bring in his Bible school teacher, Sunday school teacher, to sit with him and comfort him. And I can understand, at some of these, when a guy kind of gets off on something, for abusing, raping a daughter of some guy, I can understand that guy, the father, jumping over the rail and attacking him.
Yeah.
Because if somebody did that to my daughter or granddaughter, I'm willing to say, I'm going to do him damage, and then I'm going to go into the 3 cities.
You're gonna get the stone, the first
Yeah,
stone.
that's right.
Now, after he was dead, why did they hang him on a tree? That sounds Western.
Well, it says when a man commits a capital crime and given a death sentence, executed and hung from a tree, I think he's executed by hanging on the tree.
Oh.
But they've got to take him down and give him a decent burial on that same day so that you don't desecrate the land God has given you. A hanged man is an insult to God. Remember, when Jesus was crucified, they wanted him off the cross
Yeah. Right.
because the next day was Passover. So, and it just doesn't look good.
The flies start gathering all kinds of things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unsanitary. That's a story that, when the Romans used to crucify people. And they had one of their major highways, they had a whole bunch of people hanging on crosses. And one guy's on the cross, and this parade of Roman soldiers coming down, and they notice one guy's lips moving. And they think, what's he saying? So one of the centurions gets out of the chariot, gets a ladder, and he climbs up to this guy's lips are moving, puts his ear close to his lips, and the guy's saying, I love a parade.
That's good.
And what verse and chapter did you find?
That's good.
Clergy have a lot of crucified jokes. All right. Now, let's go in. We're going to continue these laws and rules because they're really pretty straightforward, and they're kind of fascinating. And chapter 22 is going to expand on even more of the covenant. So, Barbara.
If you see your brother's ox or sheep straying, Do not ignore it, but be sure to take it back to him. If the brother does not live near you, or if you do not know who he is, take it home with you and keep it until he comes looking for it. Then give it back to him. Do the same if you find your brother's donkey or his cloak or anything he loses. Do not ignore it. If you see your brother's donkey or his ox fallen on the road, do not ignore it. Help him get to its feet. A woman must not wear men's clothing, nor a man wear women's clothing, for the Lord your God detests anyone who does this. If you come across a bird's nest beside the road, either in a tree or on the ground, and the mother is sitting on the young or on the eggs, do not take the mother with the young. You may take the young, but be sure to let the mother go, so that it may go well with you and you may have a long life.
Let me pause there for just a minute, because some of these ordinances, you see where the church has come up with some of their guidelines. A woman must not wear a man's clothing,
Yeah.
and a man wear a woman's clothing. For years, churches had unwritten guidelines for dress. A man would go to church, suit, sport coat, tie. Women would never show up with pants. I mean, that would just be an abomination. And when I was working with the Presbyterians, I was interim pastor for a black Presbyterian church in Flint. And Flint had 4 or 5 Presbyterian churches, and we would do a joint service for Thanksgiving. Everybody would go to one church, and all the clergy would be there. And one of the gentlemen who was going to take the offering, serve as usher and take the offering, came up to me and he said, "Pastor, I don't want to serve as the offering person." And I said, "Well, fine. Is there a reason?" He said, "Yes. The other person who's helping me is a woman and she's wearing slacks." Mm-hmm. And he said, "We don't wear slacks in church." And he was quoting this passage.
Deuteronomy.
And
This is one of your black parishioners,
yes,
and the other person was from one of the other
yeah,
congregations.
from a white congregation. And I realized that in the Christ the Liberator Presbyterian Church, women always wore dresses or skirts. Never would they show up with pants. I mean,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I took this more as a secular thing, not church. Like, and I'm not even sure I should bring it up, but like in the lesbian world, sometimes you cannot tell who is acting as a man and who's acting as a woman.
Yeah.
Because one of them definitely is wearing men's clothing.
right. Well, and this is not just for church, but this is
For everything.
Society, you know.
in society. But the church, this black Presbyterian church, this guy said, "I can't do it." And he wasn't rude. He said, "I understand women wear slacks in other churches, but we don't, and we don't serve with women who wear slacks." So I went back and told the other clergy, and a couple of them said, "Well, he's got to get into the 20th century." And I said, "He's got a lot of history."
Yeah.
I mean, he grew up with this. And if you're going to disrespect his belief, then there's a word for that. You're a racist.
Yeah.
Well, that ticked off some of the other
No
clergy.
more joint Thanksgiving dinners.
Yeah. But if we'd have done it at Christ the Liberator, women would have dressed appropriately. But that's what I'm kind of pointing to is that's the belief that they had. And that was their interpretation from Scripture. And this does create a problem in society when women are dressing like men or men dressing like women. I mean,
The Scottish men don't know that should ever do that because they were killed or whatever.
yeah. Well,
That's their tariff in that
Yeah.
society, so that's not.
Yeah, no.
yeah. But I will say that some of the men who are dressing like women, they would be wearing a dress and they could probably take up the offering. But, you know, societal norms are certainly, yeah, they're different than the church. But this guy quoted this passage: "A woman must not wear man's clothing." And you know, he wasn't rude about it. He didn't leave. He stayed for the service. But he said, "I just can't participate." Yeah, you know, I'll stay here and go to church, but I can't. He said, "I'm not going to say she has to wear."
Right.
He just said, "That's what she wants to wear. This is what I want to do." So I thought it was perfectly legitimate, you know, for him to raise that point. But so many of the rules that we have come from Scripture. And this is Scripture that was written a long time ago. The same thing with if you see a fellow's donkey or an ox injured on the road, don't look the other way. Help him get up and on its way. You know, I've seen a lot of videos on Instagram and Facebook where a deer tried to jump over a fence and it got caught on the wire, and some guy gets out of his car and he goes over, and you know the deer's kicking, but he goes over and releases it. Or a deer that gets his antlers caught in rope or something. Yeah, I mean, so what those people are doing is based in Scripture. They may not be thinking that I'm following Deuteronomy, but it's caring for something that's one of God's creatures. And you know, if you have an animal you recognize belongs to someone else, don't be a cattle rustler. Take it back. You know, it belongs to someone else. And I think a lot of sheep farmers would do this. In fact, I've shared with you before that in Ireland, I've noticed when they're herding sheep, they'll put them all together. You know, 2 or 3 farmers will put them together. And one farmer sprays the back of his sheep red, one sprays them green, one sprays them blue, so they can tell whose is who. And, you know, they work together. So, but it's, you know, all of these rules are relevant today. You know, when you come across a bird's nest along the road, and the mother's sitting on the eggs, well,
Go ahead and grab some eggs, we'll leave the mother to
Yeah.
raise some more.
yeah, you know,
Into what we have for hunting laws is you can't shoot the doe, but you can shoot the buck.
right. Now, let's find out what they say about housing and construction.
When you build a new house, make a parapet around your roof so that you may not bring the guilt of bloodshed on your house if someone falls from the roof. Do not plant 2 kinds of seed in your vineyard. If you do, not only the crops you plant, but also the fruit of the vineyard will be defiled. Do not plow with an ox and a donkey yoked together. Do not wear clothes of wool and linen woven together. Make tassels on the 4 corners of the cloak you wear. If a man takes a wife and after lying with her dislikes her and slanders her and gives her a bad name, saying, "I married this woman, but when I approached her I did not find proof of her virginity," Then the girl's father and mother shall bring proof that she was a virgin to the town elders at the gate. The girl's father will say to the elders, I gave my daughter in marriage to this man, but he dislikes her. Now he has slandered her and said, I did not find your daughter to be a virgin, but here is the proof of my daughter's virginity. Then her parents shall display the cloth before the elders of the town, and the elders shall take the man and punish him. They shall fine him 100 shekels of silver and give them to the girl's father, because this man has given an Israelite virgin a bad name. She shall continue to be his wife. He must not divorce her as long as he lives. If, however, the charge is true and no proof of the girl's virginity can be found, she shall be brought to the door of her father's house, and there the men of her town shall stone her to death. She has done a disgraceful thing in Israel by being promiscuous while still in her father's house. You must purge the evil from among you. If a man is found sleeping with another man's wife, both the man who slept with her and the woman must die. You must purge the evil from Israel.
Okay, let's pause there for a minute. And if a man marries a woman, well, let's go back to the tassels. The tassels on the four corners of the cloak. You notice that the Jews wear these stoles that the men will put up over their head when they're doing prayers. Those stoles have a tassel on each of the four corners. One tassel. When you see these people protesting Gaza and all of that, and they wear the red or the black krufka, whatever that's called, that has tassels all along the edge.
Oh,
But the Jews have just the tassel on each. Don't plow with an ox and a donkey yoked together.
I can't imagine.
I tell you, if you're a farmer, you only do that once.
Crazy.
Don't plant two kinds of seed in your vineyard. If you do, you will forfeit what you've sown and the total production of the vineyard. When you build a new house, you put this parapet around the roof to make sure that nobody falls off and your family becomes responsible for the debt. I mean, these rules, in a lot of ways, have nothing to do with the faith. These are simply practical rules. You know, don't take the hen. You can take the eggs, but leave the mother there. That way, the mother goes on and will live in a long life. Make your house safety when you build it. Don't put two kinds of seeds in the ground. Don't plow with an ox and a donkey. Don't wear clothes of mixed fabric, wool and linen together. Why would that rule be appropriate?
Oh, the label on the cleaning detergents and stuff.
That's right, you couldn't wash them together.
That's right, they can't be laundered together because the linen will shrink and the wool won't.
Yeah, and
Or vice
from my
versa.
bicycle blog reading, is one of the materials that these companies use to help with the sweat away is wool.
Mm-hmm.
And it breathes, so you're cool or warm, and
Yeah. So, you know, all of these are kind of practical things.
They sound more like Farmer's Almanac.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe this is the original Farmer's Almanac.
Yeah. You're sort of waiting for the thing that says, winter in 2026 will be much colder and we'll have more snow.
Well, they do sound like practical help,
Yeah.
but
And-
I don't follow everything that it says in Farmer's Almanac.
No.
Yeah.
But this, it doesn't say if you plow with an ox and a donkey together, God will be upset.
No.
It just says, don't do that.
Yeah.
You know,
It ain't gonna work.
it ain't going to work. Then we get down to, you know, one that's a little more detailed, and that is if a man marries a woman, sleeps with her, and turns on her, and calls her a slut.
Oh, my Lord.
That's why I like the message. It doesn't beat around the bush. Giving her a bad name, saying, I married this woman, but when I slept with her, I discovered she wasn't a virgin. And the father and the mother of the girl are to take her with the proof of her virginity to the town leaders at the gate. The father will tell the leaders, I gave my daughter this man and his wife, and he turned on her, rejecting her. And now he has slandered her, accusing her of claiming that she wasn't a virgin. Here's the proof. But look here. He is spread out then her blood-stained wedding garment before the leaders for their examination.
Oh, good.
If she was a virgin, there'd be some blood. And you know, if you read history of royalty, when a king marries a woman, the archbishop stays in the bedroom
Oh.
and actually observes them.
Good.
This is a little bit better.
That's your fun time, isn't it?
Yeah. And if they find that this guy's lying, they find him 100 pieces of silver and give it to the father of the girl. And he's to keep her as a wife, and he can never divorce her. See, all of a sudden we've gone from these rules that are, here's a piece of advice, but here's some legal action. You know, don't be saying bad things about this woman who is a wife, and you're saying that she wasn't a virgin when she was. But if it turns out that the accusation is true, the men of the town are to take her to the door of her father's house and stone her to death. She acted disgracefully in Israel. She lived like a whore while still in her parents' home. Purge the evil from among you. Now, let's get down to another of the commandments.
Is it 25?
2.
22.
Okay. If a man is found sleeping with another man's wife, both the man who slept with her and the woman must die. You must purge the evil from Israel. If a man happens to meet in a town a virgin pledged to be married, and he sleeps with her, you shall take both of them to the gate of that town and stone them to death. The girl, because she was in a town and did not scream for help, and the man, because he violated another man's wife. You must purge the evil from among you. But if out in the country a man happens to meet a girl pledged to be married and rapes her, only the man who has done this shall die. Do nothing to the girl. She has committed no sin deserving death. This case is like that of someone who attacks and murders his neighbor. For the man found the girl out in the country, and though the betrothed girl screamed, there was no one to rescue her. If a man happens to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married and rapes her, and they are discovered, he shall pay the girl's father 50 shekels of silver. He must marry that girl, for he has violated her. He can never divorce her as long as he lives. A man is not to marry his father's wife. He must not dishonor his father's bed.
Now, the message says a man may not marry his father's ex-wife. That would violate the father's right.
Yeah.
Although, in 2 weeks, we'll have that passage from Luke, where the Pharisees, in trying to trick Jesus, says that a man marries a woman, he dies before she has a child. So his brother has to marry her and give him a child.
Yeah.
But she doesn't have a child. So this goes down 7 times.
Yeah.
So when they get to heaven, who is she married to? And Jesus said, "Oh, you're just you're just messing around." But unlike those other admonitions about building a house and how you yoke animals together, and the tassels. Now, we've got some hard and fast rules. You break, and these all refer back to a commandment. Coveting. If a man sleeps with another man's wife, both must die. Well, that's, don't covet your neighbor's wife, his house, his dog, his ass, or whatever. And then, if a man comes upon a virgin in town, and the girl is engaged with the man, he sleeps with her, take both of them to the gate and stone them both till they die. The girl, because she didn't yell out for help, and the man, because he raped her. So I guess if it's consenting, what she has to say is, help.
The recurring theme on these, the last sentence on several of these verses is, you shall purge the evil from your midst, or from Israel, or whatever. I think our society, in too many jurisdictions in this country, unpunished criminal activity, just release them back out there. Bob Stone will tell you, in this small town, there was 15 or 20 people that were off the streets, 90% of your crime reduced,
Yeah. But this, all of this, there is a punishment for violating these rules. But there was no punishment from, if you don't put a parapet around your house, you don't want someone to fall off and die. But it doesn't say bad things are going to happen to you. It just says you'll be responsible for the death.
Before they had lawyers. Huh?
Yeah, well, then the Pharisees came along and they started manipulating this. It's interesting that when a man comes upon a virgin who has never been engaged and grabs and rapes her, and they are found out, the man who rapes her has to give her father 50 pieces of silver, and then he has to marry her because he took advantage of her, and he can never divorce her. So, and, if your father has an ex-wife, leave her alone.
That, I wish the Bible would have said what you said, because this just says your father's mother, or your father's whatever.
Like,
Well, I love my mother dearly, but I would never marry her.
No.
I mean, I like what the message said.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
The ex-wife.
it's a lot more direct.
Uh-huh.
So what we have are a kind of a combination of rules.
Uh-huh.
One is just simple wisdom,
Yeah.
and the other one, the other one has some specific rules. Do not, if you do this, bingo, you're in trouble.
Yes.
And then 23 starts off, no eunuch is to enter the congregation of God.
Huh.
And no bastard is to enter the congregation of God, even to the 10th generation, nor any of his children. No Amorite or Moabite is to enter the congregation of God. So, we're now going to go into this continuation of an expansion of the covenant. And I don't know, I find that kind of fascinating.
I do too.
So we will pick up with chapter 23.
Yes.
Had a little taste of it. We'll pick up with that next Wednesday.